Hi, today I'm going to demo Simulate Pipeline, a new feature for SingleStore ingest. Ingest in SingleStore is incredibly powerful with the use of pipelines. Pipelines are very fast, scalable, and can ingest from many different data sources. However, the syntax for it can be a bit daunting for someone who is not super familiar with SQL. With Simulate Pipeline, we're aiming to help bridge that gap and allow users to play around and experiment with different pipelines without the overhead and cost of actually creating a pipeline. So in the past, to create a pipeline, you would have to create an in-test pipeline. You would first have to create a table, and you would have to create the pipeline itself. And then afterwards, you would to test if your pipeline was actually working, you would have to run test pipeline p, which would return the data that would be ingested from the pipeline. So in this case, you can see the data has been we return the data. However, say this wasn't actually what we wanted. In that case, we would first have to drop pipeline p, and then create a new pipeline and run test pipeline again. And given that pipelines persist in metadata, this can be a bit of a expensive process to repeat over and over again. With Simulate, we can help make this task easier. So Simulate Pipeline works by creating and testing pipeline in one single step without the overhead of actually creating a real pipeline. So for example, the syntax is extremely similar to create pipeline. So by playing around with Simulate Pipeline, you get the feel for and creating a normal pipeline as well. So in this case, you can run the command in one single step, and it is much faster than creating and testing a pipeline. In addition, you can also Simulate Pipeline, unlike normal pipelines, supports the use of temporary tables. So rather than creating a real table, we can create a temporary table which only persists on this particular node. Then we can run this Simulate Pipeline into this temporary table. But there's also another option if you want to create the table and simulate the table in one step. Before, we've been showing simulate into an existing table, but we can also do this in one step. With Simulate Create Table, we can create the table and the simulate the pipeline in one single statement. And with this, you can also support all the other functionalities of limit pipeline of test pipeline as well, such as limit. In case if you want to increase the limit to 1,000, you can do that as well, or decrease the limit decrease the limit. And given that Simulate doesn't write to metadata, it's faster than creating and testing pipeline. And the additional benefit is you can also run it on child aggregators. Here I'm connected to the child aggregator in this small cluster that we have. So first I'm gonna use txdb, and then you can do the same thing we did before. You can run this same command as we did before. And that's Simulate Pipeline. With Simulate Pipeline, you can run it on any type of aggregator and have the flexibility to test any pipeline configuration and pipeline option you want.